Welcome back to Off the Thread Reds. On this episode, we have a special guest joining us today. TheEricHammer is a Instagram social media influencer that actually focuses a little bit different, not just sports, but also with food, which is something everybody's always interested in. And you're currently on a quest to kind of go around and try all the stadium food here in the United States, which is awesome. First off, I want to say, Eric, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. But kind of going and starting things off, I guess the real question is, how did you get started? Kind of following your passion, kind of what we're doing right now, and trying to grow what we have right now.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here for real. Thank you guys for having me. I'm truly flattered and humbled to chop it up with you guys. And that was a hell of an intro. I need you guys to maybe follow me around and like anytime I enter a room, like just set the stage kind of like that for everybody. That'd be amazing. Um, my story as to how I got here is I would say it's unique and it kind of happened by accident. I never intended on making content as a career, but I had always been in that world in some way. I'm 34, so in high school, Twitter started to get popular, um, and then Facebook, like high school into college, and then Instagram was right after college. So I've always been an avid consumer of content, and I've used Twitter as my main source of news and entertainment forever, and that remains to this day. And that's why I won't call it X. I call it Twitter, and that's if you want to call it X, that's fine. But I think that's weird. Anyway, I but so I just being an avid social media user doesn't really pave the path for a career unless I make a conscious effort to do so, which I did not. I actually started in finance, and before I even really dipped my toes into that world, I realized that was not where I wanted to be. I needed something that would be a little bit more that would allow my personality to impact my work. So I needed more of a creative role, and I shifted careers into marketing, picking up little side jobs here, some writing, helping out with some social media accounts, and that landed me an internship or like a contract position for a summer at an ad agency, and that led to the next role, a full time role at an ad agency where I was doing content strategy. So I was working with big brands, helping them run campaigns, put together content to put out across their social channels on a day to day basis and sort of be like the voice for those brands in many ways. So it was cool to be able to put my own DNA, my own fingerprints on an established brand that everybody knows. So like Google Maps, Masterclass, Amazon Prime, again, things that people know and are part of everybody's lives. So while I was working there, I started to go a little bit deeper with making content. I had messed around with some content here and there, making videos. But during COVID, like so many other people, I downloaded TikTok, posted some videos. They were horrible, so bad. Um, and I stuck with it not because I wanted to be an influencer or grow this following, but I was more stubborn, and because I was working in this space, I felt like I should be able to figure it out. Like I'm doing this at my job every single day. It's my career. Why can't I crack it for myself? So just repetition, throwing shit at the wall. Eventually things started to click a little bit. Um, to the point where it started to catch on with some people. What I was learning at work, I was applying to my content. What I was learning as a creator, I was bringing back to my full-time job in my agency. So they were very mutually beneficial. And then, we fast forward, things have gotten to a point where I'm making more money outside of my job making content, which is insane. And there was really no growth for me at that company. So I decided to make the jump to go full time into content, which is crazy. And at the time, I think what really sealed the deal was this burning idea that I had in me for months, which is the stadium food tour. I've had a lot of ideas over the years, and like, the next week, it's not important to me, or a month later, I've lost the drive for it. But this was something that was burning in me for so long. And I knew that the only way for me to give it a real chance was to go all in and give it as much time and energy as possible. So it was great timing leaving my job, doing content, doing the stadium tour, and here we are over a year later, and no regrets. So I'm sorry if I went off on a tangent there.
John, we'll sit you out for a second and then we'll go from there. But like for essentially how like I started following is Instagram, and then I thought it was the coolest thing because a lot of like our demographic, like we're a couple years younger than you, so like we're kind of in that same time frame of like honestly Twitter like is my only news source. Like if I see something like trending, like that's how I saw like breaking news for sports primarily is essentially Twitter. Um, and this was kind of like a bar idea. Like we're all at this like Kirby has a 1 year old, John has a less than 1 year old. Me and my wife were expecting our first and our fourth co-host just got married about was it a week ago? So we're in this like stage where this is a kind of a time frame where we get to connect and talk about one thing that we love, which is the Reds. And it's kind of like a silly second job, but it's one of those things where like if it did blow up to a point, like it would be a cool thing to kind of take on, kind of similar what you've done is really cool to see from our standpoint. Like when
Totally,
you
and it's a creative outlet for you guys also.
yeah
Like, if nothing else, like it is something for you guys to do and to bond over, and it's a shared interest. It's a passion.
yeah, and to your point for the stadium tour, like I thought it was the coolest thing. Like one of the things that we always talk about, like from our friend group, is just like touring different like seeing what kind of games we can go to that would make sense from a scheduling standpoint. And like we've had friends that have went around to all these different ballparks, but like the food part is such a cool like idea of like, oh, like I know like obviously, each city's unique to its own like food, like cuisine, but also too like stadiums do a really cool job of like reinventing meals and doing like bougie like menus and experiences for people to come and also watch a game, but also have some great food. So it's cool that you kind of looked at that as an opportunity. And from our standpoint, like my wife will be on TikTok scrolling and I'll hear your voice. I'll be like, no, 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 scroll back up. Where is he at? Like, and whether it's NHL, baseball is obviously, a top sport for us, NFL as well. But
Mhm.
like when you got into the like that time frame of wanting to make the jump, like how was that conversation with now your wife, but at the time fiance or girlfriend, just being like, this is gonna sound crazy, but I want to quit my job. How did that go?
Yeah, she has been my biggest supporter. She actually like maybe if anything, she probably sped up the process. Obviously, I was keeping her in the loop of the things that were going wrong for me at work. It was just like a weird time with my company, and like I said, there was just no path for me that I saw to keep rising, at least for in a way that I wanted to. And she knew that I was considering. I think the first time I mentioned like, "Hey, I am considering doing this full time." I don't think she was shocked. She's been in this with me for, we've been together since I started making content before that. So she has sat through many meals at the kitchen table where I'm talking to the camera and ignoring her. Um, and but on the flip side, she has been able to see the growth and we've been able to reap some benefits together. So I think she knew that there was something there. Um, I think she knew I was unhappy at my job, and I was considering leaving the job and getting another job, like just just a new full time job, a new agency job, or something like that. But if I was going to do that, when you get a new job, you have to be like really all in. You have to give
Yeah.
110%. So that would put everything else on the back burner. So my content would suffer as a result of that. Or it would, or I wouldn't be giving 100% at this new job, and that wouldn't be fair either. I would be kind of sort of half pregnant with both of these things, and
Yeah.
that's not, nobody wins in that scenario. So it was we at the time we weren't married. Um, she works also, so it was like, hey, this is a good time to sort of roll the dice. But I don't think either of us looked at it as a gamble. I think we both saw the path for something awesome. Um, and I remember telling her I had a date in mind, like, hey, I think I'm gonna leave my job at the end of March. And then like the next day I had a crappy day at work. And she said to me, "What are you waiting for? Like, why are you waiting for a month and a half from now? You don't need 1 or 2 extra paychecks, like, that's not why you're here. If you're unhappy, get the fuck out of there
Yeah.
and start this thing. And the next day I put my 2 weeks in. So, without Marissa, I don't know if I ever would have pulled the plug, or if I would have, it would have been a little bit longer, but she's a real one for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, like, coming from all of us, right? Better half always push us to the best we can be, so it's cool kinda hearing that story, and also,
Yeah.
kinda just striving for what you know, wanna do, and I think that's kind of what our passion is right now towards it. Alright, so you brought up a little bit of the stadium tour. I got some, hot topic questions for you for that because I wanna know all about it. So, currently, the Cincinnati Reds, Eric, are terrible.
Yeah.
We started off as one of the best
Always.
teams
The
in the
Reds
MLB.
always stink, guys.
Always.
Hey, listen,
Guys, the Reds are
No,
always
as
bad.
long as
they
as long as the Reds are somewhat a little better than the Mets, I'll take it. So that's all we gotta say. No, I'm kidding. So we,
Fair. That
as
that
since
is totally fair.
no, as Cincinnati fans, we need a little wins every once in a while. So I wanna ask you this question first about the stadium tour food.
Yes.
Which is the most underwhelming stadium that you have been to when it came to food? Not the worst, just underwhelming, meaning you had high hopes maybe going in and they kind of weren't as great as you thought it was gonna be.
I have 2 in mind, maybe 3. I think everybody loves PNC, and it's a beautiful ballpark, and I love going there. I I'm not as crazy about the stadium as everybody else is. Like, the view of the bridges is amazing. Other than that, the stadium is kind of a dump, at least in my opinion. So, like, it is absolutely a great place to watch baseball. It might even be a top 5 stadium for me on in that regard, but the food just didn't match what everybody else feels about the stadium, myself included. Like, I have it in high regard, but the food, there's plenty of good bites there. It just kind of underwhelmed. And then
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you a second one, Fenway. Fenway actually is the worst that I've experienced so far. And I think, like, Red Sox fans and Boston people who live in Boston and up in New England, they agree. Like, I don't know, I it seems like with these iconic stadiums, they don't necessarily go all in on innovating the food and other
Yeah.
things, because they just cash in on being this iconic place. Um, Chicago's another example. Like, people know in Chicago the better food is where the White Sox play. Wrigley Field is not known for their food. I don't think Dodger Stadium is known for their food either, right? So,
Mhm.
uh, Fenway was a pretty big disappointment as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll all agree. We actually just went to PNC last month for a buddy's bachelor party,
for our
and
co-host bachelor party. Yeah.
yes, so same kind of deal. Stadium gorgeous. If you're a baseball purist, oh my gosh, it's awesome. But the food, I got one of their sandwiches, whatever they're famous for there. It
Primanti
wasn't.
Bros.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Wasn't very. I thought it was going to be something unreal. So I like how you
Sure.
kind of said that. I agree with you. And anytime I can
Yeah,
kind of rip on the Pirates, I'll take that as
of
well.
course.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything Pittsburgh related, we're in for belittling
I
them
mean, as bad as the Reds have been for
ever.
as long
30,
as I can remember,
30
the
years.
Pirates are probably the worst team in my lifetime that I can think of. I mean, they've
They
had some
have to
success
be.
here and there, but they are so bad. On the flip side, I wanna give it Pittsburgh in general, the city, underrated. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
enjoy it. I've been to Pittsburgh twice, and I've had a great time both times, and I remember asking people for recommendations, and I had multiple people tell me to just go somewhere else instead. That's crazy. It's a cool
Whoa.
town. If you're a sports fan, I think Pittsburgh is a very cool town.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree
On
with that.
on the flip side, were there any stadiums that just blew you away?
Yes, yes. Dyken Park, home of the Astros. No one ever talks about it when discussing, like, best food in baseball. It's a cool ballpark. It's not like, it's nothing special. It's a little bit tiny. I called it on a day where the roof was closed, which, like, you always want to get there. You always want to get a day when the roof is open. But the ballpark is fine, but the food is incredible. I did not know until I was there how diverse of a city Houston actually is. And they implement that in the ballpark. They have food from so many different cultures. I have not seen range like that at many other stadiums. So shout out to Dyken Park. They're killing it there. And then the other ones like that people hype up, I think are fair, but they're not unexpectedly like Dyken Park.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
being from Hoboken, one thing I always like think about, since that's so close to New York area, did you just grow up and people around you grow up Mets fans, or was it like a split between Mets and Yankees? What did that look like?
Yeah, Jersey's interesting. If you when you go into like South Jersey, it's almost all Philly fans. Um, we don't even acknowledge South Jersey as like part of the
Yeah.
state, really. Like those are pretty much like disgusting human beings. But everybody else in Jersey, the civilized folk, are kind of split. And typically you grow up rooting for the teams that your parents are rooting for or fans of, or your family. Um, my parents are from Brooklyn. Brooklyn is like a little bit of a split, but my dad is the same miserable sports fan as myself, all the same teams. Um, it's split. I will say growing up was tough though, because growing up in like the 90s and early 2000s, they were the Yankees, and that sucked because we were, it was living in their shadow was tough growing up as a kid. So I have like a resentment for the Yankees forever, even though it's not like a real rivalry because we're not really ever competing
Yeah.
very often. It'll forever be like this weird thing between the Mets and the Yankees. Um, Nowadays, it's like, that the Yankees haven't won in a very long time. They are not what they used to be, obviously, which is nice. But like the Mets don't win either, so we're kind of in the same boat. But they're still the Yankees. I still hate them. They still hate the Mets. I don't care what people say. The fans who say like I don't actually hate the other team, they're not real fans in my opinion, or they're lying. Um, but yeah, it's weird. Most people from Jersey are either Mets or Yankees. You get Phillies, or you get some like random fans here and there. But I would say maybe it's like a 60-40 split, just because more people are Yankees fans because it's convenient and they don't want to face any adversity in their life.
The Subway Series is pretty elite though, from like a third party, like if it's on like
Yeah,
Sunday Night Baseball, like from our standpoint, like it's pretty cool. And you can definitely feel the intensity from like a
yeah.
rivalry
There's
standpoint.
there's some there's some juice with it now, and I think like over the last like 5 or 6 years, like the Mets have been
Yeah.
relevant, right? For the most part, which is nice. Like when the Mets stink, then nobody cares.
Mhm.
Like I root for the Jets, right? Like the Jets don't have rivals because the Jets suck every year. Like you can say like we hate the Patriots, we hate the Dolphins, but like when your team wins 4 games every year and you're just a punching bag, like nobody considers you a rival. So the rivalry doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Eric, I still remember Mike White going for 400 plus
Yeah,
yards
against
on the
the
Bengals and
Bengals.
dragging us through the dirt a couple
Just
years back. The Jets may be the Jets everywhere else, but in Cincinnati, like that's elite competition
well,
every
Well, yeah,
once in a while.
even this past
I th-
year, we were up. I was in the countryside of France, and I was listening to on like the iHeart radio app, and I like lost connection. And I was like, "Well, they're up 2 touchdowns. We like if they lose, I'm gonna be so pissed off." And then like we get done with dinner, I like check my ESPN, like I reconnect to Wi-Fi, and like 100 text messages just be like, "I hate myself. I hate this team. I hate everything about it." And I was like, "Damn it, we finally lost to the Jets. Like
Fellas,
this
I
is
I I
ridiculous."
know I understand that lifestyle. Trust me. The Jets kind of own the Bengals though,
Yeah.
at least like in my
Recent
memory.
history, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They do.
we don't
Yeah.
own many teams.
yeah.
Yeah, we call it just in Cincinnati, the Bengals bangled that Sunday. So it's
Yeah,
just a normal
the
thing.
Bungles. Yeah,
Bungles.
and
It
to your
happens.
point though,
Yeah, the
like
Bengals. Yeah, we have same old Jets. That's
yeah,
like
Old Jets.
that's the PG version of what
I was
everybody
like
says.
we're like the Midwest, like the Bermuda Triangle of like misery of like Detroit, Cleveland, and Cincinnati,
Mhm.
like is like essentially just where like fan bases just happiness go to die for football. But like Jets are obviously an honorable mention as well.
It's yeah, it's nice to know that it's
Yeah,
not
there's
just us. Yeah, yeah, that's
I
why we're all getting along so well. Like we
yeah,
are like
right.
we're
Yeah,
brothers in
yeah.
arms in many ways.
I will say we are all out of like spite of the Reds all wearing our like Bengals gear because it's the
Yeah,
only thing
yeah.
that we have anything to look forward
Yeah,
to.
it's just
Yeah, that's fair.
Just like hoping that Burrow doesn't like have any sort of preseason injury or like anything negative happening. Like right now, like the world of being a Bengals fan, like we're on cloud nine, right, fellas? Like I think we're confident. It's
Mhm.
gonna go horribly wrong in the fall,
I
but
get it.
we're ready to get hurt again, I think.
Yeah,
And no storylines this offseason for the first time.
Perfect.
It's like we're not in any sort of not signing anybody's story, nobody's pissed off, demanding trades. Like things are looking like objectively they're going correct. We signed all our draft picks. That's the first time we've done it this
Best.
early in a
It's
long
the
time.
best. Yeah. No,
We-
when like the PR is like at an all-time low,
Yes.
that's trust me, the Jets more than any other more than the Mets. Well, we can get back to baseball, but like the Jets, they don't just lose, like they have to embarrass themselves and earn headlines, and they are the laughing stock as a result of that. Whereas I get some messages when I say like nobody understands except for Jets fans. I get a lot of people say like, "What about the Browns?" And to that I say like nobody cares about the Browns. Like the Browns are the Browns. The Jets are in New York. Like people care,
Yeah.
and they're going to make fun of the Jets. The Browns will make fun of the Browns too, but there is nothing like being a Jets fan. The way that they just piss down their leg and embarrass themselves on the national stage as often as possible.
Yeah.
I guess from like just overall the last 10 years of Jets, like you guys had a lot of like the first year of Rodgers and like the amount of memes that come from like Jets season, like the Aaron Rodgers running in like with the American flag was like elite, and then obviously he goes down with injury. Like what's been like which has like brought the most pain? Like our like the I guess my question is the biggest painful memory of my Bengals career is when they lost the Super Bowl. But like they made it to the Super Bowl, so like it hurts, but like you can look back and be like they made it kind of far. But like which moment as a Jets fan are you like this fucking sucked?
That was when Joe Mixon wasn't on the field for a crucial third down. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Dude,
sorry to bring it
yeah.
up.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no,
I'm just gonna turn
that
off. I'm gonna
was
turn
that's
my camera
memorable.
off and start crying. Essentially, yeah.
I remember what I remember what who did you guys lose to?
The Rams.
The
Okay,
Rams.
I
Yeah.
remember rooting for the Bengals in the Super Bowl, and that's why I was so angry. It's like, why do you have was it P Ryan on the
P.
field
Ryan.
maybe
Yeah.
instead?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Which
Yeah.
P Ryan is I actually like Samaje P Ryan, but why do you not have Joe Mixon? Whatever, we don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
This is an elite ball knowledge moment, by the
Yeah,
way.
no,
Eric
no,
is
very
He's
tossing ball
impressing
I would
us
say
knowledge
there.
right now.
very impressed.
Yeah.
I've been burned for certain things in Super Bowls, like in like box pool scenarios. Like I remember years ago, Shanahan for the Niners, like instead of going for if he would have scored a touchdown before halftime, like I would have won like $6,000, and he like pretty much ran the clock out with like a minute and a half left, and then they
Howard.
lost the Super Bowl
Yeah.
as a result of that. So that was some karma for his bitch ass. You asked me the worst moment as a Jets fan of the last 10 years. I mean, where do we even start?
I know
It's
that's a hard question.
it is insane. I mean, the answer is Aaron Rodgers, because there were like legitimate expectations.
Yeah.
It it wasn't going to work, right? You already said this example, like it wasn't going to work, but like we had a chance.
Yeah.
And for it to happen the way that it did was just
Like you guys had Hard Knocks, like Sauce had the cool like handshake. We're Sauce guys since we went to UC with like Sauce, so
sure,
we were like,
Yeah.
like we were rooting
sure.
for him. Like just
Yeah,
all those
it was
young
all set up
defenders.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Like Garrett Wilson finally had a quarterback who could throw him the ball on a dime, and the makeup of the team was there, and like the running out of the tunnel moment
Yeah.
on 9/11, Monday Night Football. I mean, it was crushing. It was the worst.
Like
There
new
there have been a lot of bad
uniforms.
moments, but that one had like the biggest impact on the franchise, because like it was over after that.
Dude, do it a little bit of a change up here, but I as you know, I was lagging out earlier, so I had to jump here for a second. But I wanted to ask on the social media front, like in general, was there a specific series or lineup of posts that you were making that you could tell caught traction? And the reason I asked that is because like I had quantified you as a dangerous scroll, right? Like I hop on, I see one chicken Caesar salad wrap review, and next thing you know, I'm like 20 videos deep and I'm hungry and still scrolling. So is there a series or a moment? Was it flying to Florida and back in one day for a chicken Caesar wrap? Like, talk to me. What was the post? What was the moment?
That's a great one. Your tech is on point right now, by the way. I want to give you a quick shout out for that. You
Thank
look
you.
and sound
Thank you.
amazing. The Chicken Caesar wrap series was the first real series that I had that took off. And that actually like sort of sparked the stadium food tour, in the sense that I finally had something that like got some
Dude, yeah, an
momentum.
avenue.
Yeah, but I didn't want to do just that. So I actually like kind of pulled the plug on the chicken Caesar thing pretty quickly, which I know like bothered a lot of people. I still get messages and comments from people like, "Hey, why did you stop doing this? Can you keep doing this?" And I just didn't want to only be known for that. But I was like, "Okay, I have something. Let me try to manufacture another series that I actually want to do." Um, and the stadium food tour, I know it's a much bigger thing where like this is a much longer term plan. But I think it has worked so far. But the chicken Caesar series, that was crazy. That happened completely by accident. I just got one locally, and then someone said, "Oh, I like this one. Go try that one." I went to go try that one. Someone said, "Go try this one." I tried this one, and then it branched out of Hoboken into other places in North Jersey and New Jersey, and then I flying down to Florida for a wrap and flying home was an insane thing to do,
Awesome.
but it's for the love of the
For the
game,
game,
especially
yeah.
Yeah.
like you guys, if you when you're in the content world, like you'll do what it takes to get some views and get some traction, but it wasn't like I wasn't faking anything. It wasn't like a gimmicky thing. I spent my own money to fly down there for like 7 hours and flew home. It was a crazy thing to do. Um, but nobody else has done that as far as I can tell. So yeah, it was a fun day. And the wrap was worth it. It was terrific.
Dude, looked incredible.
Yeah.
How'd they fold
I
that
don't
thing?
know. It's amazing.
Huge.
I watched it happen with my eyes and I still don't get it. It's crazy.
All right, so
Crazy.
kind of going off. Let's go into a little bit of baseball, but a
Yeah.
twist to it. Being a Mets fan, obviously, your guys' fan base super passionate. You guys have one of the most beautiful ballparks in the MLB. People don't realize that. Getting off the train and walking into the ballpark, seeing everything's unreal. But you guys have a super fan, Frank the Tank. What are your honest opinions about his reactions? Because from my standpoint, because I live Frank the Tank's emotions all the time with the Reds, it's a very comic relief that I need. So, what are your guys'? I guess the real question is, what are Mets fans like? If we're thinking about a Frank the Tank,
I don't think he represents like what who Mets fans really are. I do ultimately like I think he's just a beaten down fan. And we've all been through those like times as a fan where like it's you don't see anything but darkness. You don't see any it's just pessimism. Like you don't expect anything good to happen because leading up to this point, nothing good has happened. So like prove me wrong or else I'm going to just assume that it's going to keep happening. I think where Frank, I'm sure he's like hamming it up a little bit, but I think he has gone so far where I think he almost wants to be proven right and that the Mets continue to fail. Like I think he gets a kick out of, "Oh, I told you we lost again." Obviously, he wants the Mets to win. I don't think he's rooting against the Mets. I think of course he wants the Mets to win more than anything, but he takes it so far where it's annoying because like if the pitcher throws I don't know, if Noel McLean like walks the first batter of the game, it's like for Frank, like the game is
yeah,
over,
yeah,
the
yeah,
day
yeah,
is
yeah,
ruined,
yeah,
and the season is over. There's 162 games. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah,
you can't win every
yeah.
inning, every game. Like
The
yeah.
sky cannot be falling all the time. So he's the boy who cried wolf. It's always the sky is falling. This is irreparable damage. Um, Unfortunately, the Mets stink, so it makes him look like
hmm
a genius sometimes.
hmm
Um, I don't think he has so many problems with so many things. It's ridiculous. Um, but like, there's not much to say. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, the Mets aren't that bad. He's wrong about this. He's wrong about that. Like, until the Mets win, like, there's nothing for anybody to say. But I don't think he represents like Mets fans are very passionate. Yes, he fits that bill, but he takes it to this extreme level where it's like man, it is so annoying. Even I get comedic relief out of it sometimes,
Mhm.
though. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
when it's like if it's a crushing loss, like the Mets blow a lead in the ninth inning, they give up 5 runs, like, yeah, I'm miserable also, and
Yeah.
I don't get any comedic relief out of seeing how Frank reacts to that, but, like, if, like, something little happens and he loses his mind, yeah, it's kinda funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
You
think
wouldn't believe how quick I'm hopping to Twitter when I see the
yeah,
Mets blow something.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Like,
I
I'm,
get
like,
that.
sending the Frank the Tank video to the group chats, like, it is a moment where I'm like, "This is how I feel a good chunk of the time when the
Mhm.
Reds bullpen has to be trusted on," which, Eric, I don't know if you've watched much Reds baseball this year, but through April, the bullpen was money, nails, lockdown. Like if you had a lead going through 6, you could trust on them. Since May 1st, 13 blown games from the bullpen. So if it's
Yeah.
tight or
Yikes.
you're in a close one, it's a tough thing to watch. But when the Mets go through it, too, it's like, all right, flip to Frank the Tank. But in general, obviously, the Mets aren't having the season you want to, but have had
No.
fun seasons and had fun players throughout the years. During your lifetime, what was a player that you look back fondly on, or even a moment at a game that you're like, that was my Mets fandom.
Yeah, there are great Mets moments and great players over my lifetime. Mike Piazza's my favorite Met of all time. David Wright is second.
Unreal,
Um,
unreal.
Jose Reyes is iconic. Um, Jacob deGrom, amazing. Beltran, people have their problems with him, but like he was great. Um, the Matt Harvey era was like a
Yeah.
special era.
Yeah, dude.
Johan Santana was, on
Yeah.
the end of his career, but he gave the Mets their first no hitter. That was a very very special moment. I remember that one because um, I was not at the game, but I was watching the game at home with my dad. And as tortured Mets fans, when you do get moments with the people that you love who root for the
Yeah.
same teams, like it is special. That was it was June 1st, I think 2012. So like the Mets were terrible, but like we did one of those like jumping hugs together where we're both like
Mm.
going up and down at the same time.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that was a great moment. Um, my dad and I went to a World Series game in 2015. It was actually it was game 5 where the Mets lost the World Series. The Royals won. We ended up leaving that game like during the last inning because like it had all fallen apart. We didn't want to sit through the end of it. But being at the World Series with my dad was a special
That's
moment,
awesome.
even though we knew they were down 3-1. It was never going to happen. Um, I'm trying to think anything recently. Bartolo Colon, love Bart.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Watching Bart hit a home run was amazing for all baseball fans. That
At
was
Petco
that was
Park,
great.
yeah,
right? That was
Yes,
against
Petco.
Padres,
you're
dude.
number
Yeah,
1.
Unreal.
Yeah.
yeah, Petco. Bart was hilarious. Big Sexy as we call him. Um, there have been some great moments. I mean, the run in 2024 was amazing. I actually was uh that was when they split with the Braves on the last day of the season to make the playoffs, and then they went on that insane run. I was actually sitting here in this seat. I'm in this like an office room like in my apartment, and I was during work hours, but I was watching the game, so I just remember being in this room, like watching on this computer. Lindor hit this insane home run. This back and forth game, yelling and screaming in the afternoon. So that was amazing. And then like later in that postseason, Pete Alonso hit that home run to beat the Brewers off Devin Williams. I remember I was on a plane, like we were about to take off when he hit that home run. So that was a special postseason run. Um, I mean, Steve Cohen buying the Mets was one of the best days of my life because our old owners were cheapskate assholes. And Steve Cohen has failed as an owner so far, but we've got the most money, so like
Yeah, shelling money out for sure.
That
he's
was
gonna continue to like try to figure out a way to win, and I think he's doing a lot more than just buying players. Like he's improving the area around the stadium, which like sounds like, oh great, we don't care, but like things like that do matter. Like the culture, I think he is trying to change the culture. So it might take some time, and it's taking more time than he said it was going to take, and fans are very impatient, rightfully so, myself included. We just want to win, but I believe in Steve Cohen in the long run. But anyway, yeah, no, there's a lot of moments to be pretty happy and proud over, and there's so many more to commiserate over.
going from like a front office, like you said, that's like cheapskates, they're not spending any money, they're not making the moves you want them to a guy that's like, I'm gonna bring in the talent, I'm gonna spend the money, I'm gonna try and make those moves. I think right now, us Reds fans, we're in that cheapskate era, right? Like we've had the Castellinis our entire life, that's all we know. We'll go get ourselves a Candelario, a Mike Moustakis, but we're never gonna make a big splash. As Mark Kirby and I have been begging for, either front office and ownership making a change. We would love a Steve Cohen pipe dream. Like, give us someone who's going to come in
Yeah,
and go down swinging
you
rather than
deserve it.
someone who can come
You
in.
do.
Oh, dude,
Every team does. Like the Pirates are another example. It's like
100%.
they're never gonna you're never gonna have an off season where you give out three you give out $600 million to three different guys. Like, and I'm not saying you need to do that to win. Like, you can sort of like money ball, small ball your way to some success. Like the Rays are the best example of that over the years. But you need to have an owner who's willing to spend. You need to be able to be like in the mix for these star players, or else like how can you ever really make a splash otherwise? So yeah, you guys deserve it. Every team does. I actually like I've always been in favor of putting a salary cap in baseball. I don't think it'll ever happen, not in the traditional sense. But like parity would be a good thing. I will on the other side, on the other hand, um, I benefit as a Mets fan from having an owner with more money than anybody. So not having a salary cap, it should be to the Mets' benefit, and they continue to spend the most money, and it doesn't matter right now because they suck. But the point is, it's I'd rather have an owner who does spend money than not.
Yeah, no, Kyle Schwarber's from Cincinnati, and the Reds lowballed him, and it was like, well, we can't afford him, and you're like, well, like put out like a winning product, and people will go in and support you, and they just
Yeah.
continue to
Was that
not do
after the
that.
Cubs? He was like the Reds were in the
No,
mix of like,
this past off season,
This
like
past,
oh,
yeah.
okay,
4 months ago, they were like
sure,
hometown. Like
The
Harper was like, "Oh, he's gone to Cincy," and like we kind of were thinking, like, "Is there a shot? Like, are we back?" And like it was leaked that he was lowballed like $5-10 million less than the Phillies per year, and you're like, "Come on, just like just shell it out and figure it out." Like you guys are billionaires, but
hmm
um. My question to you was, what would be your one thing to fix the Mets? Like, is you guys have a? It sounds like long term it's going to work out at some point. You just have to be patient. But like, is there anything that like you look at and say like they need to improve this as soon as possible? Is it the farm? Is it like maybe like not
yeah. I mean,
rushing a decision on like a free agent? Like, what would you say is like kind of their weakness?
they're it's I have two answers. They need to get David Stearns out. The general manager, he is so bad. Everyone thought he was like boy genius, whiz kid from Milwaukee coming in, gonna like use all these funky analytics to take the Mets to the top. And every button he has pushed has been the wrong one, and they suck. Um, and I think he is a huge problem. Uh, on a more like macro level, player development for the Mets has always been bad. Like their farm system has been weak very often, and more specifically, their top prospects rarely pan out. They hype him up. This guy's going to be amazing. He's going to be amazing, and then they stink. And like when you invest so much into that, when you give them so much trust and so much opportunity, the crash is tough to come back from. I so many guys over the years. This guy Fernando Martinez was supposed to be like the next Ty Cobb, and the guy just sucked. He couldn't hit. Rafael Montero was a pitcher, and he was so bad. And then you have like Jacob DeGrom was not a top prospect, and he was incredible. But the guys they have now, like they have so many of these guys that are like playing every single day. These like they're not prospects anymore. Like Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos, Francisco Alvarez. They all suck. Like they're terrible. I'm forgetting the guy. Shit, this other guy who swings for the fences every pitch. He bats like 185. I'm drawing a blank. But the point is, like, they have. I don't know. They need to fix that, and that's
Yeah.
not like an overnight fix. Obviously, that is like different scouts. It's different training. It's different player evaluation. Like they have big
It's
problems with that.
so it's actually really interesting. Like in baseball, you could be a large market or a small market team. Dude, we have the same problem. All of our like quote unquote prospects that came up the past 2 years, I mean, half of them haven't panned out. The other half are getting injured. And the Reds right now are sitting where it's like our farm system's depleted. Like we have no idea how we're going to fill these roles. So we're kind of running into issues. And like,
We have 2 more years of Ellie before we trade him. Like,
yeah,
it's
before
just
you
like,
guys get them, right? Yeah,
yeah,
like before you or the Dodgers get them. So it's kind of like we got to win now, and we can't get to the winning side of it. So it's kind of we're in like purgatory. It's kind of hard
And
to
there's more
watch.
pressure on the small market teams to
Mhm.
to nail those, because if you're not spending money, then you better be able to build through the farm system, because if you can't do that, then you really have nothing. You have no chance.
Yeah. I mean, that 2023 class they brought up with like Ellie, Steer, CES, McLean, like a bunch of these Reds guys, much like the Beatties of your world. Realistically, like Ellie and Steer are playing their best ball this year, which is great to see. But McLean, we offered him $100 million contract 2 years ago, and now we're thanking ourselves he didn't take it.
Sure.
CES is no longer with the ball club. It's like these names that you hear about, and I mean, I watch our farm system pretty consistently. It's like I watch these names come through, get excited for them, then they come to the major league stage, and almost certainly it doesn't pan out more times than it does, which just sucks to see. I mean, one of the guys that we're looking at right now, Edwin Arroyo, it's definitely way too early to see what's supposed to happen with him, but he's a top dude in baseball. He just played in the World Baseball Classic, top prospect, shortstop, spunky kid. And just like when a prospect comes up, I fear that if he does not hit a spark right away, the Reds just bury him. He goes back to AAA, doesn't get another shot, don't stick with it. So I feel for you in that sense. It's like once we do get to the major leagues, why am I watching AAA and AA? They tear it up. They get to the major league stage, and it's almost like regression sets in, even if they do start hot. It's
I
crazy.
know, it's brutal. Any relation to Bronson Arroyo for that kid you were talking about?
No. Bronson Arroyo and Edwin Arroyo do not have a relation, although that would be sick.
that would be,
Love
Yeah.
Bronson
Oh yeah, I
Arroyo.
love Bronson.
It's like
Huge
it's like when you,
fan.
it's like when there's like a horse race and they're like, oh, he's in the Seabiscuit lineage, like
yeah,
there's
Yeah.
yeah,
some
Oh,
yeah,
DNA
yeah.
from. You want something close to Bronson Arroyo or some of these other like
yeah.
old time Reds that I've got a lot of love for. I can only imagine how you guys feel about these guys.
Dude, they're still running Bronson Arroyo Arroyo out there with a guitar for like opening day to
Yeah.
strum it a couple times. Like he's a musician now, and we're like, send him out there.
Yeah,
The
no,
one trick pony comes
the
back.
Oh
Cincinnati
yeah,
marketing
Yeah.
team is just
so
how would you
fun.
like a Bronson Arroyo bobblehead this upcoming Saturday? Like that's just
That's what they
the,
do.
the well is not dry. Just keep going to it.
First white
Um,
guy with cornrows that I ever seen.
Yeah, he
So
can
yeah,
rock
when he
it.
was with
world
Boston.
Hard, dude.
Oh
World Series
yeah,
champion
oh
with the
yeah,
Red
yeah.
Sox. Not with us, I'll tell you that much.
yeah.
No.
No,
Honestly,
Yeah.
real quick, like the I mean, it's been a while, but like the Reds pitching staff has always been something that, like, at least back in the day, like they had dudes.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
dude.
give you like my fantasy baseball team name back when I was doing fantasy baseball for like a decade, never changed it. Was Harangatang. Shout out to my boy Aaron
Oh
Yeah,
my
Harang.
Aaron
God.
Harang, yeah.
Yeah, that's my guy. And then
Like,
I've always Johnny Cueto and Edinson Volquez. Those guys were dudes also. So I miss that era of Reds pitching.
I'll
Even some of the names that are like Homer Bailey's obviously a big one. Like we had
Homer
Matt
Bailey, yeah,
Latos. We had Matt Latos there for a minute. Like we
sure.
had some
I forgot
arms, dude, that
Latos
could
was in
step in.
Cincy.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
like the Reds, I will give it to the Reds when it comes to like trying to figure out starting pitching for a small market. They do really well. They have a lot
yeah,
of
oh yeah.
homegrown guys. Our issue right now, man, is we just can't stay healthy. I mean, we have Hunter Green, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball, but he only can, have 20 starts in the year because he's hurt. So it's just trying to, walk that line and trying to stay healthy. It's tough. It's
If
tough.
you looked at like a healthy rotation this year for the Reds between Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Chase Burns, Rhett Lauder, like we could have a mean starting five. Just you can't plug it all together. You could argue that if Hunter Green and Chase Burns were both starting, they could both be competing for Cy Youngs by the All-Star break, depending on how Hunter Green pitches. But last year he showed he has that talent. He's had that talent in the tank before. And Chase Burns this year is like a low 2, a high 1.9. Last I checked his ERA, and his whip's under 1. Like
Yeah, he's
unbelievable
killing it.
pitcher, Paul Skeens type numbers. Just like you said, Kirby, you can't put together. Injury bug always seems to hit, and the depth piece is never there for us.
Yeah, and you can never have enough starting pitching. Obviously, like people say that, but it is so true.
So
Like
true.
when your horses go down, like you can't replace the top of the rotation. But if you have some guys who are like, they can, if you have more than just five guys, you can start to piecing it together and tread water for a little while. And it feels like for the Mets, like another thing like that their problem like internally, it's like when their pitching is on, they don't hit. And
Mhm.
then when
Yeah,
they're
that's us too.
when the offense is humming, like the starting pitching ERA is like 7. Like it's always one or the other. It's like feast or famine. It's
Yeah.
brutal.
Hey, all right. So we're doing a little comparison, and I think this is a good way
Sure.
to end it. This is perfect timing for you to hop on our podcast because the Reds and Mets play each other
They are.
tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we're going to do a little series breakdown before we end this thing. And I want your honest opinions because coming from a Mets fan, I want to see like, hey, are the Reds anything or do you think we have them? Because right now we think we're going to get swept by you guys because the Reds stink. So
Yeah.
on
And I said
Monday.
this before, you guys called me at a really weird time. Like I've been pretty out of touch with the Mets this year for a couple different reasons. The main reason is that they're pitiful and like their April was so bad that like they've dug themselves an impossible hole to come out of. It feels like so it's like all right, well I'm not gonna care because like I'm not gonna watch every game and every pitch like they're terrible. But also I had a couple of things going. I got married recently, so like that was a really good thing for me to focus on. I was like, all right, like
Yeah.
I don't care
Oh,
about
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
important.
care
yeah.
about the Mets.
Yeah.
I'll care about the Mets when I get back from my honeymoon in June if they are, if they've earned any
Yeah.
of my respect. And then on top of that, the Knicks have been a nice distraction. So
Unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it's
just give us a little bit of a taste. Like
yeah.
How
we
awesome
haven't.
Past
was it?
24 hours,
Yeah.
what did it look
Yeah,
like?
this is a weird day for me.
Tease
I
us
feel
right
like
now.
I'm like Jalen Brunson, like doing like media obligations coming off a championship. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in Manhattan last night. Now I will say like the Knicks are not at the same level as my Mets and Jets fandom. But that said, I'm not
Still
picky. Like
counts.
this is my first
Oh,
championship.
yeah.
It was amazing last night. We were out, we were out late, drinking the town dry and seeing everyone jumping on cars and shit like that. And then like I got a couple hours of sleep last night, and then I actually went to Citi Field today, my first game of the year. Didn't want to go, but I had a business obligation to be there. So, but the Mets have been like they've not been a priority for me
Yeah.
this season, and it's been a good season to not have to pay that much
Mhm.
attention.
Mhm.
With that said, we just
Mhm.
took 2 out of 3 from the Braves,
Yeah.
and they're like
Big.
they're staying around, but like they dug themselves that hole in April, and it's going to be really hard for them to make any run.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the flip side, though, like last year they started off as like the hottest team. Not to like throw a dig, but like they did have that meltdown that allowed us to sneak into the playoffs and get absolutely just smacked by the Dodgers. But
Yeah, last year was maybe the worst season I
as a
can remember
Mets,
as a Mets fan
yeah,
because like yeah, they were so hot in April and May and maybe a little bit of June, but anybody who was watching them knew what was happening. Like we were just bleeding out for the entire summer. It was never like there was never any confidence. They never pulled it together. They started to like sort of tread water a little bit in September, but like early September, but it was they were going
Mhm.
down a bad path and like everyone knew what was happening and then it happened the way that we thought it was going to. It was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
dumb question related to the Knicks. Do you wish that they lost yesterday so you could win it like at Madison Square Garden? Like,
We were
is
talking about that at the bar last night. No, only because
right? You want to
I
win?
was in Manhattan. Like
Okay,
I was there. I had
Oh,
already we'd already
nice.
yeah,
made the decision to be like, let's go into
committed.
the eye of the storm tonight. If I was on my couch and you can tell me that there was a guarantee that we would win it in 6, I would take that and just win it at home. Like why
Yeah.
not? But
Yeah.
you don't get picky when you don't have a
No,
championship.
No
no, no.
shot.
We would.
Yeah.
I would take
Doesn't need
anything
to
I
be
could get.
pretty.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't it be pretty?
like
You don't care what anybody says. Like you win. However, a win is a win. We'll
yeah.
take it.
I was gonna say,
The first
I
one.
think the only championship we've seen is the Todd Frazier home run derby win at
It is.
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
All-Star
that
game.
that
Yeah.
if that just shows
Sure.
how sad we are, then enjoy it, and we're happy for you, and hopefully we get
Yeah.
to experience it
Thank you.
someday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The
If you would have
Bengals, hopefully.
seen if you
Yeah,
would have seen the way I celebrated that home run derby victory, you would have thought we won the World Series. But in
Hey,
Cincinnati,
take
you
it how it
take those
comes.
things.
horrible.
Absolutely. You
The
take it out
Cyclones
however you
win a
can.
Kelly's Cup, you have a beer. The Reds hit a
What?
home run derby, you go for it.
The Reds lowball Kyle Schwarber, you celebrate. You know, it's just
Hey.
Yeah.
the little things, right? Yeah,
That's right. Small wins.
yeah.
Small
That's
wins.
how we get through the day. Little small victories throughout the day
Exactly,
anyway.
exactly.
There it
Well,
is.
congratulations. That's awesome. Glad that,
Thank you.
a fan base that hasn't seen a lot of success is enjoying it. So
Yeah, I'm gonna get my taste of my first parade this week, which is I
yeah,
don't know how I'm gonna act. I don't even know what like the protocol is. Like, what do we do?
you're asking the
Uh,
wrong show, brother. I'll
yeah,
say.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so this is what we do every time when we go through predictions for preview. We just say what we're going to do. Are we going to win 2? Are we going to win 3? How's it going to be broken down? So I'll lead it off. I'm going to go. The Reds are going to win Monday, and then we are going to lose 2 in a row. So we're going to end up only going 1-2 on this road trip. Mets are going to beat us twice on Tuesday and Wednesday because we have Chase Burns throwing Monday, and then the rest of the time it's slim pickings. So
I'm bringing up the probables for the other games because yeah, you guys got your dog tomorrow.
Yeah,
yep, you guys have
Chase
Myers.
Burns. Yeah,
Myers Monday. You guys have Scott Tuesday, and then you have McLean on Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay, so you say that the Mets take 2 out of 3. I'll say the
Yeah.
Reds take 2 out of 3.
All right, there we go.
This is
Yeah.
kind of very fitting. It's like
Yeah. It's interesting because like the running joke recently is like if the Reds bet Reds first 5 and then take the opposition money line as soon as the 6th inning starts or like the first reliever comes in. So
sure.
probably not applicable tomorrow because I think Chase Burns. I think he pitched against the Mets this earlier in May, and I think he got like 8 or 9 strikeouts. I think he killed it. So he should be fun to watch from our perspective tomorrow. But um, I think we sneak out with the series win for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I think we go win, and then Singer I think is probably a loss on our side, and then Lodolo's a big left-hander, so I think he should be able to, I think, carry us with that. Is the Wednesday game Kirby day 12 o'clock or is it a night game? I don't know if
This
you
You
know.
matters for sure.
I don't
It
know if it
for sure
I
matters.
love
matters.
that.
It does.
I'll look it up
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Look it
It
up.
definitely does matter.
It'll sway my
While
decision.
you look that up, Kirby, I like the matchup on Monday. I think Chase Burns can go out there and pitch really well. Tuesday, fantasy baseball. Shout out Eric mentioned earlier. Scott has been a baller the past couple of weeks for my fantasy team. Picked him up. He's delivered like back-to-back 18 and 22-point performances. So only having seen that and only knowing what Brady Singer brings to the table, I'm going to say the Mets win on Tuesday. And then once we get to Wednesday, dependent on time, this could be the least viewed sporting event of the day because
12:40.
I just don't.
12:40.
12:40?
40,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that score about 4 p.m. and the Mets are gonna have won like 8-2. It's
Hey,
no one's gonna.
John, do me a favor. When you check that score, let me know how they did on Monday and Tuesday because
Yeah.
with all due respect, I am not watching
Checked
these
out.
games this
Yeah.
week.
Hell yeah. As you shouldn't. You
Eric,
shouldn't.
As you
Yeah.
should.
I can
Yeah.
surely hit you with that.
Yeah.
I did want to ask, like, before we dipped here, because like I said earlier, Danger Scroll, awesome what you're doing on TikTok, awesome what you're doing on Instagram. Where can people find you, as well as what to expect with like the stadium tour and everything else you got coming out
Yeah.
with the 50 subscribers we have on YouTube and the
We're
extra 100 on
we're
Instagram?
coming your
We're
way,
gonna
brother.
push this.
Yeah.
You're
Hey,
gonna get clipped.
Yeah.
you gotta start somewhere. It started at
Yeah.
0. Think about that. You were at
Yeah.
1. You 50x. Think about that. So huge progress and shout out to you guys. I'm at TheEricHammer on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok. Those are my big ones. I'm messing around on YouTube. YouTube is a tough puzzle to crack. I've been throwing my old stuff up on Facebook. That's been fun actually, to like kind of relive some of like my favorite
Dude,
videos
yeah.
over the past couple of years. And I'm starting to get back in the mix on Twitter. Like I'm really trying to get back in the like social conversation for all things sports and food and everything like that. And then the stadium tour is back. I had to put it on pause just because I got married and then I went on my honeymoon and then the Knicks have been taking over my life for the past 2 weeks. And then like World Cup, I've got World Cup fever. So, but at the end of the month, once July hits, I'm back. Cincinnati is coming up. If you guys are around,
Yes.
I would love to link up with you guys and we can do
Yeah.
the stadium food tour together. It's probably going to be the week after the 4th of July. I'll keep you posted on the dates, but stadium food tour is back. The rest of the summer, I'm going heavy on traveling in different ballparks. So really looking forward to that, to go, putting the foot on the gas again for that stuff, as well as all the other food stuff I'm putting out locally and around the country. So it's gonna be fun to get back into like a real routine.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
hell yeah.
I'll say whatever dates you end up in Cincy, we'd love to. We'll send out some
Yeah.
recs as well, just to kind of give you
I need some
a head
Skyline
start.
chili.
Oh yeah.
Need it.
Oh
Need
Need
it.
it.
I
yeah.
need it. I
Do you
need it
want
like
it?
I need
Yeah.
air.
Do you need
I want it.
sober or do you want your first experience? Like, I
Yeah.
guess I want to know a little bit of. Do you like chili? My first question, and then
I like
Skyline
chili.
chili.
Yeah.
Chili's not really like Skyline chili is a little bit different. It's like more of a meat sauce.
It's a sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
I
a
think
difference
it's
between having
incredible.
Skyline for lunch
Drunk.
and then yeah, having Skyline at 2 a.m. There's a
Yeah.
huge difference.
Interesting.
2
I think I
a.m. is a
would
lot
be.
better.
I think I would like to have it sober, but I also would be somewhat strategic. Like I don't think I would have it for lunch and then
Yeah.
plan a huge day after that.
Yeah.
Definitely
I'm
not.
pretty
Don't do
careful
that.
about
Yeah.
as it might sound crazy, but I'm like pretty careful about like when
What you eating?
what I'm eating and when, like based on what I have
Mhm.
going on the calendar, because I've got some stomach issues. So I would make sure that Skyline Chili is like the main event
Yeah.
of the day, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would toss some Tums in the backpack.
Brother,
And
you know I keep that thing on me.
needed. Funny we brought up Skyline. My like someone had mentioned earlier, my 7-month-old tried Skyline today for the first time as we went to the Reds game yesterday, and got it on the way home, paid the price at like 1 a.m. But he tried Skyline today, loved it. Huge fan.
Okay.
There we go.
So he was going to town on it. We'll see how that ends up next morning when I change a diaper or two, but loved it today.
I love it.
Yeah.
Incredible. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it even more now. As if I could be even more excited for Skyline Chili. Here I am.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy sell. No. Seriously, thanks for hopping on. I know we
course.
have a bunch of other questions. But like, we would love to have you back on. I want to get more into the stadium tour another time, especially
Yeah,
like the hot
let's
dog
do it. If
rankings
the
as
Mets and
well.
Reds can like somehow stick
Play in the
around, like,
playoffs.
I know they're only like 4 or 5 games out of the playoff picture. I know there's like 100 teams to jump, but like they're
We
not
believe.
quite dead yet statistically. Like
Mhm.
if towards the end of the summer the Mets or the Reds are hanging around, making things interesting, like let's get back on here and we can
Yeah.
chop it up again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll link
Anytime.
up
We're
soon.
in the
Yeah.
off season when they
Yeah.
both end up losing 95 games.
We can get a Jets Bengals status going on sometime in the fall too. Yeah.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
We'll find a way to connect. Yeah.
There's
I love
nothing I like doing more during football season than talking about what happened at the Jets game the day before. So
Exactly.
let's do that.
Yeah. No, I'll say if July works out for us and we get to link up and have a beer
Yeah,
and a
I'll keep you
Coney,
posted for sure. Let's do
we'll
it.
cross that bridge. But I appreciate it, Eric.
Cool.
Thanks for hopping on, brother.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
This was fun.
Thanks.
Yep.